But some of the clauses, or part of the clauses that scale through, has to do with the autonomy of the local government. I think by virtue of what I've seen, the National Assembly voted yes. In fact, it was an overwhelming yes to it. And then, of course, the autonomy of the State House of Assembly, they also voted yes, and it was an overwhelming yes. Also, the autonomy of judiciary, it was overwhelmingly voted yes. And so at the national level, the National Assembly, they've discharged, in my view, their own part of the bargain, part of the responsibility in altering our constitution, which is very commendable. I am proud of the National Assembly. I'm proud of what they've done so far in altering the provision of the national constitution, especially as it relates to local government autonomy, the state legislature, State House of Assembly, and then the judiciary. That simply tells us that, of course, in the past, such attempts were made, but along the line, sadly, since the provision of Section 9, subsection 1 to 4, stipulates the processes, having gone through the National Assembly, it has to also go through, sent to the houses of State Houses of Assembly. And it is expected that 2/3 of the State Houses of Assembly, we have 36 Houses of Assembly, it is expected that 2/3 of this number, which I think by my calculation it will come to 25 State Houses of Assembly, they must say yes to a particular clause which has also been passed already by the National Assembly. When they say yes to it, that makes that provision altered, and then before it is finally sent to the president for his assent. Now, over time, if you look at what the challenges that we've been having as a people, as a country, we've been having a challenge of these State Houses of Assembly falling beneath their responsibility, what they ought to be doing in order to alter this provision of the Constitution. Now, in the previous attempt, we've had situations where the State Houses of Assembly, this is so ridiculous, the State Houses of Assembly are given the opportunity to have autonomy for themselves. But of the 36 State Houses of Assembly, you now have a situation whereby they fall short of having the 2/3. By that, let me give an example. Perhaps, maybe in this particular exercise, we have a situation whereby maybe the numbers of the State Houses of Assembly that will say yes to local government autonomy, if we have 24 states saying yes to local government autonomy, that simply means at the end of the exercise that all this beautiful effort, this nationalistic effort which has been put by the National Assembly now, by passing, as considering that, yes, having gone through the legislative process, public hearing and all that, and then for me, very beautiful, very nationalistic stand which they've taken. If we have 24 Houses of Assembly who said yes, short of the 25, then that beautiful effort will come to nothing. In the process of the alteration of our Constitution as spelled out, like I said, in Section 9, subsection 1 through 4. So what bothers me now is that we've had such incidences where the State Houses of Assembly, even on their own independence, they will go and vote no against their own financial autonomy. And you now begin to ask, are we really being serious in this country? Are we serious about building strong institutions as opposed to building strong men? And then I think that is where the issue usually. In the last exercise, where there were graciously, I think the amendment, the alterations on local government autonomy, state legislative autonomy scaled through. Even the local government autonomy they scaled through, but the judiciary and state legislative autonomy, both of those ones scaled through. But the problem was that there were still some aspect of the Constitution that needed to be tinkered with, to be altered, to give effect, to give the local government and to give this the state judiciary and the State House of Assembly unfettered that liberty to be able to operate, which is what brought about this issue of Order 10, which was also thrown out by the Supreme Court and all that. But now the National Assembly has gone back to look at the issue very well and accommodated those areas that were probably forming a lacuna in giving effect to true autonomy of the local government.